Greetings, dear friends, and welcome to the Spring Vernal Equinox Druid Ritual that I'm bringing to you today and inviting you to join in. So this is a little bit different to my usual healing ASMR. My Druid Grove normally meets every 6 weeks at a place called the Longman of Wilmington, and this is a hillside figure, the tallest one in Great Britain, at 231 feet from the top of his head to the tips of his toes. And my Druid Grove normally meets here. And nobody really knows the origins of this giant of Wilmington. Some believe he is ancient, and others believe he is relatively modern. And others believe that he signifies the Saxon god Woden, who is similar to Odin of the Norse traditions. And we use him as a power point. Some people believe these staves are gates, but we are unsure. On the top of the hill there are barrows, ancient barrows, and it's a very peaceful place in a pretty English village along the south coast of England, just a few miles in from the sea along the downs. So, and if you can't see this, you can keep an eye on him on my necklace there. So I'm just going to give you a couple of things to hold now. Piece of flint from the beach nearby, and a chalk and flint, what I consider to be a knife, a blade. It may not be, but it's in that shape, from the downs above the Longman. And I'll just set the scene now. I'd like you to imagine that you're driving in your car along pretty country roads in the UK, and then you pull up outside the Giant's Rest pub, and there are other Bards, Ovates and Druids all parking up and stepping out. Some are robed, as I am. Others are witches and different kinds of pagans, and many just turn up in their casual attire. And we all walk southwards through a pretty English village, past the old school and lovely thatched cottages. There are banks of primroses at the side and a little stream running in front of the houses. And we keep walking southwards, and we come to a very pretty old country church. And we open the gate to the round churchyard, which denotes that it was once a sacred circle, perhaps of trees, maybe stones, we are unsure. And in this churchyard is an ancient yew tree, and yew is an evergreen tree. It looks The leaves look like pine, and it has red berries, which are actually, the pips are very poisonous and are used in chemotherapy. However, it is a sacred tree to the Druids. It denotes gateways to the past and future, and its offspring are rarely born of seed. These trees rest their arms on the earth and regenerate. And this particular tree is well over 600 years old, and it is so heavy that it is propped up with stakes and held together with chains. And I will just draw and sing this symbol into you now, the Ogham of you. Ee-ho, 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 and you may want to pick up a fallen twig and pop it in your pocket. And then you and the Druids and pagans carry on southwards, and you walk past an ancient priory where the monks lived, and then towards the orchard where more pagans arrive, and we all start to trudge up the hill together through cornfields which are just starting to grow at this time. And we go up the hill towards the giant, or the Longman of Wilmington, and we congregate in a circle on this flat place here. And if you are standing on the top of the hill, you would be able to hear every word uttered from the bottom. It is a natural amphitheatre. And you will hear the sounds of the lark and the crows and ravens, and you may even see a bird of prey circling. It is a very peaceful area, and us Druids, we greet each other. Someone has brought some mead or apple juice, others have baked bread, and we lay our offerings and altar on the earth, and children are running round and dogs playing, and the chit-chatter continues. And then we start. And I have some ceremony to read here. So we open. And I'd like you to imagine that you are standing with the Underida Grove at the bottom of the Longman of Wilmington. By the power of star and stone, by the power of the land within and without, by all that is fair and free, we welcome you to this rite of Elben Elia, Ostara, or the Spring Vernal Equinox. We have come from the east and the west, the north and the south, to be here together. And I'd like you to imagine that you are joining hands with people watching this all around the world. And imagine us all standing in a circle at the bottom of the Longman of Wilmington. And now let us take 3 breaths. 1 for the earth below us. 2 for the skies above us. And 3 for the seas around us. And now we will call in the quarters with the blessings of earth, sea and sky. May the ceremony begin. One of the Druids salutes the east and faces outwards. O Spirit, we greet you and honour you and ask for your blessings. And then they turn inwards. O Spirit of this place and Spirit of this circle, we ask for your blessings, guidance and inspirations for our ceremony. And then another Druid moves forward. Let us begin by giving peace to the quarters, for without peace can no work be. And we move to salute each direction in turn as the Druid who spoke walks to these directions. May there be peace in the north. May there be peace in the south. May there be peace in the west. And may there be peace in the east. And then we all turn inwards and say together, may there be peace throughout the whole world. And then we join in prayer. Grant, O Spirit, thy protection, and in protection strength, and in strength understanding, and in understanding knowledge, and in knowledge the knowledge of justice, and in the knowledge of justice the love of it, and in that love the love of all existences, and in the love of all existences the love of spirit and all goodness. And now I invite you to sing the Arwans with me. And while this is happening, somebody moves around the circle with the sacred herb flame, and you are invited to waft the smoke over yourself. And this person will offer you blessings. And you bless them back. And then the same person will bless you, offer you to be blessed by water, which you do so now, and you then bless them back. And now let all your disturbing thoughts be laid aside. Let your anxiety and worries fall from your shoulders and drain out of your feet into the earth below you. And we will cast a circle now. A circle of our horizon, of our lives, lands, time, and of the year. Seasons, goodness, birth and growing, dying and rebirth. And you now watch as the circle is cast by one of the Druids, either with their finger or a wand or staff. And let us mark out this circle with symbols of the season. And children move around with seeds and flower petals and leaves. And the circle is now cast, and the apparent world subsides as we stand together. In the eye of the sun, here, now, between past and future. The earth is below us, and the heavens above us, and the circle is around us, and it is a sacred time and space. And may the circle be purified and blessed with the element of water. And may it also be blessed with the element of fire. And we gather as equals in our physical form here upon the earth. Each presence is a blessing. And with every breath we take, we breathe light and life into the circle. And let the four directions now be honoured as gateways of the quarters and opened with power and radiance, so that it may enter our circle for the good of all beings. And now we all turn to face the east. We call upon the guardians of the east to come and be present here now. And we now turn towards the south, and another Druid says, we call upon the guardians of the south to come and be present here now. And we all turn towards the west, and another Druid calls out, we call upon the guardians of the west to come and be present here now. And then the last Druid and us face the north. we call upon the guardians to come and be present here now. And we all say together, may the harmony of the circle be complete. And we proclaim this ritual festival of Alban Ilia, the light of the earth at the time of the spring equinox, or Ostara. And we proclaim the symmetry of day and night. And we proclaim summer and winter. And we proclaim natural balance and glory to the shining ones, the hosts of the heavens. And glory to the power of green earth and waters. And glory to the sun and the moon. And glory to the powers of the underworld and of inner darkness. And now that the day and night are in perfect balance, we stand at the threshold of darkened light. Today each one of us shall pass through this doorway as we enter the bright half of the year. Behold, the Mabon approaches as the harbinger of spring. And then you watch a druid who has waited outside the circle in the east. And he or she says, in this cluster of trefoil or clover, behold, the Mabon approaches as the harbinger of spring. And the Mabon, the golden child, answers, having also waited outside of the circle. In the cluster of trefoil or clover, I offer you the symbol of Alban Ilia, Ostara, the equinox. And the first druid receives this bunch of clover, trefoil, and brings the Mabon, the golden child, into the circle. And we thank the Mabon for this gift, signifying the living power of the 3 bars of light. The Arwen. The 3 bars of light in the trefoil that springs up in the footprints of Lady Caradwyn. And the Mabon approaches the west, saying, I offer to this circle and for this celebration these flowers of spring that is here. And the other druid receives these flowers and proclaims, we thank the Mabon for this gift, signifying the rising powers of light. There is yet one who stands outside the circle. She is the Lady Caradwyn. And I ask her now to enter that we may bid her welcome. And you watch as the druid or druidess representing Caradwyn, who has waited outside in the west, approaches the first druid, saying, I come to bear the offering and augury of plenty to this circle. At this time of equal day and night I bring seeds and wine of earth, seeds which I have grown and wine that is ripe from the nether years. And she hands these to the druid, They are gifts for you, the elders and guardians who have kept and give the seeds of knowledge, the wine of the wise. And the other Druid replies, from the earth its promise, from the lady her gracious gifts, from upland and plain we thankfully take these seeds and wine that is offered, and build again a temple of song of the Alban gate. And she now sprinkles the water and sprinkles the seeds upon the earth. And I now want you to meditate on the sacred fire candle. And let us now, in perfect love and perfect trust, center ourselves in peace and in power within the sacred grove. And think how you can bring yourself into balance. You may wish to stand like a pentagram, or like the Da Vinci drawing of the person standing in star form. Arms out and legs out. Earth, air, fire, water, and the head symbolizes the spirit. And this is a good way to bring yourself into balance with all the elements. And then the Eastern Druid moves towards the center of the circle. The north and south go to stand in the east and face each other to form a gateway. And the East Druid calls the name of the first person next to the gate on the southern side, who walks sunwise round the outside of the circle to the east and waits with eyes closed. A northern Druid standing on the person's right and a southern Druid on the person's left, each place a hand on the shoulder, and they join the other hands to form a barrier in front of him. North and south whisper simultaneously into that person's ears. Father, Son, Spirit, Mother, Moon, Body. And East says, wake and cross into the light. And as the East calls this, the North and South raise the barrier of their arms to form an archway, and the participant opens their eyes and passes through the circle and regains their place. And we watch now as this happens to others, until it is our turn to step into summer. And after a little while, when everybody has had a turn, which can take quite a while, sometimes there is 50 of us there, the first Druid says, as seeds are sown in earth, so they are sown in our hearts, in our minds, and in our lives. And now the second Druid says, Let each in turn step forward to speak at this our ice deathford. And I will now step forward into the circle and read a poem that I have written about the Longman, and others will come after me and play music or just speak. This is the Giant's Fall. Giant at Wilmington lies so still. He lies forever upon this hill. He looks over fields out to the north, whence over valleys as the grain springs forth. I'll tell a tale of which I know. I'll tell a tale from long ago. There were two giants lived upon these downs. Each had a barrow large and round. They looked across the mere with woe. They smouldered, vented, what a show. Then one dark night they'd had enough. Each collected boulders big and rough. They hurled across the river there. Craters still mark the ground it's still bare. Huge big great dents pon yonder ground, at which the Fae still dance around. They shouted, yelled, pulled out their hair, made much a din, this raucous pair. Furl Giant got his hammer out, and Wilmington waved his staves about. Furl Giant aimed a precise throw, at Wilmington's head it was to go. It flew with speed, hit his foe's head, at which Wilmington sorely bled. Wilmington tripped upon that brow, tripped over the edge, and still lies there now. His staves in hand for all to see, and there he will forever be. At autumn equinox you move into shade, you lie in shadow, giant, your bed is made. And when the light returns, you step into the sun, and we know our summer has just begun. Whatever happened once up here, we make our offerings throughout the year. We show our thanks and sing your praise, and we ask forever for happy days. And gradually a few more Druids step in for the ice deathford, as we call it, and we listen peacefully and respectfully. And when all have done so, it will be time to close the circle. At first, the Eastern Druid behind the north puts a seed into the soil, and each participant is given a seed, and they say, I speak for the seed of life now and forever. Be renewed. And the second Druid sprinkles water on each seed. I speak for the blessings of water and the power of love now and forever. Be blessed. And the lady then places her hands around each, saying, may the warmth and light of the growing days bring seeds into fruit. And then the first Druid says, at this time of equinox, we ask and give thanks for the blessings of the sacred hair, that we may welcome the promise of rebirth and the blessing of the goddess and the guidance of our intuition. And then we all hold hands and we say another prayer. We swear in peace and love to stand heart to heart and hand in hand. Grant, O Spirit, and hear us now, proclaiming this, our sacred vow. And then we let go of the hands, and the first Druid tells us all with joy to step back into summer, which we do so now. And now our giants will be in the sun every day until the autumn equinox. And we sing the cascading Arwins. And then mead or apple juice is offered round the circle. Would you like to take some? Just a sip. And then the bread is also brought around and offered to you to rip off a piece. And have a little bit more chit-chatter. And then we unwind the circle. The first Druid says, may the spirits of the 4 directions be thanked for their blessings. And we all face the north, and the Druid of that quarter says, we thank the guardians and we bid them farewell. We then face the west, and the western Druid says, we thank the guardians and bid them farewell. We all face the south, and the southern Druid says, we thank the guardians and bid them farewell. And then we all face the east, and the eastern Druid says, we thank the guardians and bid them farewell. And we all turn to the centre and say, may the harmony of the land be complete. And the circle is uncast. And the first Druid will say, may the blessings of the goddess, gods and spirit be always with us, and I declare this ceremony of Alben Elia, Ostara, is closed in the apparent world. May its inspiration continue with our beings. Breathe out. And I will now take the pieces of flint from your hands, and they will be laid upon the earth for cleansing. There are a number of things you can do at this time. You can plant some seeds. You can dance in the light. Or you can listen to music for 12 hours, equal night and equal darkness. And bring yourself into balance, either by standing as the long man stands, or by standing in the pentagram shape, like the Leonardo drawing of the man. May the peace of the season be upon you. And we also remember our friends in the southern hemisphere who are moving into the darkness, and they are stepping into winter at the autumn equinox. And you may see a video I did on this in the video list. Peace to you all, and blessings upon you, your family, and your life. Thank you for joining me.